Today on Quest, Jamye Phillips talks about her upcoming venture, Center for Aligned Living. Life is a quest for logic and reason. It is a quest to find balance between science and faith. Life is a quest for knowledge and understanding. But most importantly, it's a quest for personal discovery. Whatever your quest, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Welcome to Quest. Hi everyone, I'm your host, Todd Fischer, and welcome to Season 3 of Quest. A quest is a search for something, and this podcast will show you how we know what we know through interviews with people that have incredible stories of dedication and perseverance. To me, curiosity is part of what makes us human, and there's still so much we don't know. There's joy in discovery. It's what drives us. It's our quest. Hi, Jamye. Welcome to the Quest podcast.
Hi, Todd. Nice to talk with you.
Yeah. So we talk a lot, actually. This is our first interview together, but we talk all the time and we go way back. So for the listeners, Jamye and I go all the way back to college. Although she attended college, I just attended college parties. That's about right, wouldn't you say?
25 years later, she actually graduated.
Yeah. I've never gotten my degree, so this is what I'm doing. This is what happens, kids, when you don't go to college. You become a podcast host, right? But we're both Hoosiers. So I met Jamye at Indiana University. Southeast. Should we specify Southeast?
I think we probably should. There's a big difference. Well, there's a difference.
We met at your sorority parties.
Yeah. I think that's where we met.
But we've come a long way since then, I think. Now you
Thankfully.
run your own essentially health, mental wellness company, Center for Aligned Living, this thing that you're building.
Yes.
And a couple of years ago, our paths kind of crossed again. And we just started chatting about life and different things. And I think you enjoyed seeing where my journey was going. I enjoyed seeing where yours was going. And I want to get to Center for Aligned Living. And we're going to talk about that a little later in the episode, but let's kind of go backwards a little bit. So we met in Indiana. I'm curious. So I don't really know this about you. Did you grow up spiritual or religious?
I was raised Catholic. Mm-hmm. So we went to church every Sunday. I started out in Catholic school, but then when my dad chose to move out of town a little ways and have a home built for us, I switched to public schools going into third grade. So yes, I do have that foundation of Catholicism in me.
Yeah. So you were actually in Catholic school.
Is
that right? Oh, you were for a little while, and then you went to public school.
I was for a little while, and I have to tell you, it didn't really work for me.
Yeah.
It was just, I was not comfortable with how rigid it felt, even at that young age. I didn't really blossom. Yeah,
no, I get it. It's not for everyone, I hear. I went to public school the whole time, but I have cousins and all different types of people in my family that have done the Catholic school route. I have no idea what it would be like for something like that. But you wound up going through public school and you went to college. So when did you move to California? What was your life path that got you there?
Okay, I'm all about just being open and honest. And so the path that I was taking, I had a career there in the Louisville area. I had tried a few different things, from flipping houses and a gift basket business. But primarily, most of my time was spent in the banking industry. So I worked at a couple different banks there for several years. But I felt like I was trying to live someone else's life, and I was not being true to who I was. And this is very interesting because I didn't even realize what I was doing until the past few years, when I did just a lot of inner work. I realized that I was just jumping from one thing to another without really, I go, oh, well, this looks better, so I'll do this. Oh, this looks better. But I wasn't really thinking about a path or what I wanted my destination to truly be. And so I got in this job that I was not successful at. It was lending. So, I don't know if you've ever been close with lending, but I'm sure some listeners can relate to this. I'm not comfortable with numbers, first of all. They're not my thing. And I would be talking to someone and they completely make sense. Oh yeah, I see that you could pay your bills. I see that this would be a good fit for your business. But if they didn't fit into the underwriter's box, no matter how successful they were or are or going to be, I had to tell these people no and explain to them, you just don't fit in the box. And I quickly discovered I didn't fit in that box. So it was just really interesting the way the universe creates opportunity. It doesn't give you outcome. That's up to you. But an opportunity was produced for me. I met someone who was from the Louisville area and had moved out to Southern California. And I thought that would be a good fit for me to get away and to try something different, which, moving across country away from my entire safety net, security, family, everything I knew, I just abandoned pretty much and came out to Southern California. And, it's not a bad place to be stuck, if you will. But I kind of created that step of not thinking just, oh, this looks better. I made this move and what I expected to have happen didn't happen. The relationship fell apart. I had 3 children with this gentleman. Wow. And I was terrified. Wow. I was terrified. I was away from my family and my safety, and I had my children that I was responsible for. And I was being told, things that were very negative. And I got very down, very depressed. And so I knew that I could not live that way. And so I started the work. I started looking at what I needed to do and what needed to happen. And in order for me to be okay here in the high cost of living and to be able to take care of my children, which they were, are, and always will be my absolute number one priority. There was a lady that at the school, another mom, who, it's so funny, here again, the universe creates opportunity. She and I were always like in passing, oh, we're going to get together. We're going to, oh, blah, 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 blah. And I mean, for a year, right? And then I'm at this point and it's like, I keep running into this lady. I'm like, tomorrow, are you free tomorrow? Can we get together? And she's like, yes. And so we made it happen. And come to find out, we got talking and we talked in depth, about where we were in our lives and how we're feeling and relationships and everything. And I discovered that she is a massage therapist. And she tells me, she goes, you just need to get a massage. And I'm like, well, that sounds lovely, because my only therapy to that point was kind of whining to friends. That wasn't very helpful. And running, which, running is great because it gives me clarity and endorphins and all these things. But if you just continue to run away from your problems, you're never really dealing with them, and there's never any real growth.
Right.
So I thought, well, why not? I'll try this. And she referred me to someone. And I went and I had this experience that I was very open. So I'll say that. I was very open to change. I wanted change. I wanted to have this breakthrough and to know where I needed to go and how I needed to do this and how I could, do the things, meet my responsibilities, that I have created. And so I was completely open, and I just laid on that table and I let this experience just happen. And I had no idea that massage could be so spiritual, that it could actually align you both, mind, body, and spirit. And it can give great clarity. And then with that, it opens, you open to your intuition and to your inner guide and to the truth. And you have clarity, and you can see, the answers come. The answers just come. And that was my experience, my first experience really with massage. I'd had a couple not memorable experiences prior to that. But this was really just, I had no idea. And so I dove headfirst. I just jumped in with reckless abandon, really. I'm going for it. I'm going to find out more about this powerful experience that I had. And that's when I started down the path to actually become a massage therapist.
Yeah. And how long did you do that for?
Well, the program that I went to was 6 months. And so I've been practicing now for 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then that evolved into Reiki.
Yes. So when I was in school for massage therapy, I had several people, including teachers, tell me, that, oh, do you do Reiki? And I'm like, no. And they said, well, you need to take this class. You need to get in touch with this person. We think that this would be a really good fit for you. Because there are different types of massage, no doubt. There are so many different modalities, and there's therapeutic in one way where it's physical. You have a stiff shoulder or an aching neck, and you can do different maneuvers on the soft tissue to alleviate that. And, that's great. I work with a lot of athletes, but my true gift is something more of aligning the mind, body, and spirit. And so with Reiki, that just propelled me into more energy work. And yes, so I took a class, and I had some experiences. It wasn't really, it comes easy for me, but until I overthink it. And I was in a class, so I was overthinking it, right? So I remember one day we were all in a circle, I had like 5 or 6 people laying hands on me. And I was like, wait for it, something's going to happen. And nothing was happening. And the teacher's aide just was like, shook me and said, stop trying to control it. And so I just let go like I did the first time on the table. And I just allowed. I opened and I allowed something to happen. And I felt this whoosh that went up and down my spinal cord. It was a whoosh. There's a physical thing that happened to me. And I was like, whoa, what was that? And that was my first really solid experience with experiencing Reiki on myself.
Right.
And so I started to incorporate that into my practice. Just I'm basically anyone who practices Reiki, and everyone can do it. It's all in us. All we have to do is quiet our minds and allow it to happen, and, experience it and just let it flow. I started incorporating that more and more into the massage work that I was doing. And then I went further into, I talk to a lot of people all the time. And so I do distance Reiki, because a lot of my friends and family do not live. I have new friends and family here in Southern California, but I do a lot of, online work because my true family and friends, originals, are back in the Kentuckiana area. And so I talk to people a lot. And when there's a problem, I'll do distance Reiki, distance healing. And that has been very rewarding.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Jamye, let me ask you, for the listeners out there that aren't really familiar with Reiki, what's the core difference between a regular massage and a Reiki massage? Is that the right terminology for it, a Reiki massage?
You can call it, or energy work. There's so many, I always say it's like, there's so many different names for things, but we're all kind of talking about one thing, right? But it's
Sure.
however you label it. So, I call it energy work, or alignment, but a Reiki massage, the difference is, so if you're getting like a sports massage, and there's, I believe in all forms of massage. I think they're all beneficial. But you can just kind of tell when it's medical. Let's call it medical, right? Where, you come in here and your neck hurts, and we're going to work on your neck, and your neck is going to feel better when you leave. Okay. Right. Then if you're doing energy work or Reiki in a session, it is just deeper, because you use the energy, you channel the energy through yourself into your client, and it becomes sacred. At that point, it becomes sacred touch. And when I lay my hands on someone and Reiki flows, basically I tend to do, if someone has an ache, I will, focus on that area, yet I'll still let Reiki flow through. But a general session with me would be kind of more along a circulatory, very flowy, very, just, you kind of know what's going to come next. There's no real surprises. It's just, good pressure, consistent flowing. But at the same time, while I am working on the different muscle groups and the different areas of the body, I am reaching energetically deeper into my clients.
Yeah.
And a lot of times before we begin a session, I'll even ask, and they're willing to, they can share or not. But I ask them if they have an intention that they want to share with me to set for the session. And so it may be something like, well, my intention really is just, to ease the tension, to, let go. And it could be something very specific, like I'm having a difficult time overcoming this obstacle in my life. And if they share that with me, then I'll just say, okay, well, let's make that our intent for this. Let's ask for healing in this area, whatever needs to happen, allow it to come in to the session. And when you leave, things will, work out. Or you'll be given the guidance or the clarity or whatever it is you need. It's so funny. Reiki is, I don't even try to think that I manipulate it, or it's smarter than me, smarter than any of us. So I just allow, we ask, and if that's what is needed, or the universe thinks that is best for us during this session, then we will have that outcome. But if there is something that we're not even aware of, or maybe something else has to be changed first, then, the universal life force energy, which is Reiki, it knows that. And so, you might have a slightly different outcome. You might get relief in a different area.
Sure.
And it frees you up. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Now with Reiki, are you actually touching the skin? Are you actually touching the person, or is it more of a hovering over the person?
I like contact.
Okay.
I really do. But not everyone is comfortable being touched.
Yeah.
So I have to work individually with people to see where their comfort level is.
Sure.
So it can be done either way, but I truly enjoy, the hands-on.
Is Reiki something that's good for people with PTSD?
Oh, heavens. Absolutely.
Elaborate on that. You have clients that have PTSD, right?
Yes. And I've worked with
military
children.
veterans, things like that, maybe.
Yes, military, and oh gosh, I've worked with children who have like ADHD and on the spectrum. And the simplest way just to break it down is everything's on a spectrum, right? Whether it's PTSD or autism or dementia, everything is on a spectrum. And with Reiki and with this healing touch, what it does is it calms the individual. Not everyone is open to healing.
Right.
This is a very, very, if you're open to touch, this is an absolute wonderful gateway into getting you back aligned, bringing you back to the center.
Right. Which is a great segue to your company, your new operation here, Center for Aligned Living. Tell me how you came up with this. What was the genesis of this business?
Well, through conversations with you, Todd. And I began my healing journey when I went through my divorce. And so that's when I became a massage therapist, and I started digging deeper and deeper into healing and healing modalities. And then COVID happens.
Right.
And so it scared me. It scared everyone, and that we could just be stopped. We could be shut down. But you can't shut down healing, right? So that really forced me to, maybe here again, maybe it's the universe providing opportunity, because I can only help one person at a time if I'm truly doing table work, hands-on. But I want to be able to help more people. And so on my healing journey, I discovered a lot of different healing modalities. And so I am creating the Center for Aligned Living, which is just truly like a place where you can come, whether online or workshop or groups, whatever. But it's just a place where you can go, where you can pull from my experiences, and I'm pulling in other people. There's so many wonderful people out there, different healing modalities beyond massage. I work closely with Dr. Jane Cohen, who does neuro-linguistic programming, which is a wonderful way to release limiting beliefs. There's a doctor in Encinitas who is just spot on with tapping. And so anyway, what I'm doing is I'm creating a place where anyone can come to and find different tools that they can put in their toolbox, their own personal use, that they can pull out anytime that they want to progress in their healing journey. And the healing journey here again, it looks different for everyone. Every one of us is different and unique, and we may both be looking at the exact same situation, but due to our past experiences, we are going to see it we could see it two completely different ways. So what I'm trying to do is to get everyone to understand that within you, each of us, every one of us, we have the ability at any given time to make new choices, use different modalities to become aligned, to live a peaceful, aligned life. And when I say aligned, I'm talking about, you can here again, many definitions or many paths, one destination, right? And I think that destination is love.
Right.
Plain and simple.
Love that.
You can call it God, you can call it your true north. You could just even call it peace or harmony, but it is to me, it is that is our path. That is the awakening. That is our destination. And that is the becoming enlightened. And enlightened is kind of a, some people think, oh, that's kind of a hippie word, but just knowing. We could leave it at knowing.
Yeah.
So that you can have a peaceful life and you can live and make good choices. I see the world right now. Everyone is looking externally. There's a lot of external living. I want change, so you change. The way that we change the world is we change ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And so this Center for Aligned Living is just a touchstone, really, where we can gather and we have different modalities, different thoughts, different ways of looking at things, and it's all within us. And that's when I want to hammer home is that we can do this, no matter what your past experience or your current situation is, you can find peace, you can find love, and it's all within you and it's available. We just have to be taught. We have to, I think it's a big part of what I'm doing is self-parenting.
Right.
As opposed to, because we need regulation, right? We need self-regulation. And I don't think that we're taught that any longer. And so I try to teach that to my kids, and I want to teach it to everyone. The self-love, I'm going to go and spend money that I don't have because I'm going to buy myself a treat. Well, that's just going to cause more problems down the road potentially. So yeah, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying we need to have some self-parenting too.
And the Center for Aligned Living is open for people to experience in person or virtually. Is that right?
Yes.
COVID permitting, I suppose.
Yes, COVID permitting. But, we can definitely, I'm not going to let COVID stop me. I'll follow the rules. But yeah, we can do these things from the privacy of our own homes. We can have groups online. We can do things in person safely, as long as safety measures are concerned. But there's no reason to wait any longer to begin healing or to just have a peaceful life.
Right. And how can people find you out there on the interwebs?
Well, I'm on most social media platforms under Center for Aligned Living, all one big word. Yes.
And you have a website coming soon.
I have a website coming soon. And something you didn't even know, Todd, is I started my book.
Oh, great.
I know. It's so funny because everybody's writing a book, right? But I discovered, and I think I even shared with you, that I'm concerned that my little video chats that I've been posting, they may seem a little too scattered. So I'm like, fine, then I will do the book. And then the book will just be like basically a manual that
Right.
shows me, and then we can go deeper. We can dig deeper into the different portions of the manual
For
through
sure.
videos and the workshops.
Well, that's great. Congratulations on that.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm going to enter the masses of people who've written a book, but it just makes sense. And, it's so funny because I try to keep everything very simple because my target audience is just the everyday person, really. We don't, not to pick on anybody, but I don't have the luxury of going to India for a few months to find, enlightenment.
Right.
I'm in the trenches. I'm here, I'm doing it. I've got so many responsibilities, just like the normal person, the average person. But we can have the India experience while we're washing dishes or changing diapers or in a, meeting or carpooling or whatever it is, fill in the blank. Yeah. So the book will be a wonderful manual, really, that everything else is going to flow from.
Yeah. Well, that's great. That's the way to do it.
Apparently, because it's easy, it feels good, and it's flowing. When something doesn't feel good, and it's not flowing, and you're blocked, maybe you need to go a different direction. So I need to practice what I preach.
Those are beautiful words to wrap up the interview by.
Well, thank you.
Jamye, it's been a pleasure. I hope you come back and do another one of these
Todd.
with us.
Thanks for always being so supportive.
Everyone check out Center for Aligned Living out there on social media all over the universe. And until next time, Jamye, take care, okay?
All right. You as well, Todd. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And there you have it, my interview with Jamye Phillips. I hope you enjoyed this bonus episode. As usual, if you want to reach me, you can email me at questwithtodd@gmail.com or leave a voice message at anchor.fm/Metatomics. I'll see you next time on Quest. Thank you for listening to this podcast. Please be sure to rate and review this episode. This podcast is produced by Todd Fischer and distributed by Metacortex Publishing. This podcast is copyright. Any previously trademarked or copyright content is used by permission. Information and opinions stated in this podcast should not be construed as medical advice. Please be sure to visit the official website for the International Association of Metatomics at metatomics.org or find us on social media for other unique content.